2021, there was a pandemic.
2021,
we did not have open campaigns. In 2021, there was a pandemic. Only addressed leaders. We did not have open campaigns. Did not even transmit the message. The president only addressed because they had either rely on mass media, because themselves they were under pandemic transmit the message to the voters. Under such circumstances, because they had either to rely on mass media, to perform the way we did. Because themselves they were under pandemic, regulations were not favorable. So under such circumstances, the president would only meet leaders. We were bound to perform the way we did. There was altercation. The regulations were not favorable, and the president would only meet leaders. Part of which affected was altercation between the opposition, because we were being accused and as if we were the ones sending the security forces. Part of which affected the opposition performance. So there were many things that did not, because we were being accused at that time, as if we were the ones sending the security forces. The organization has been confronted. The opposition. The resources have been available. So there were many things that did not. The security improved on their human rights record. The organization has been good, and all of us have resources have been available. The security improved on their human rights record, handling the population, in Uganda, and all of us have been beneficiaries of the improved status of the affairs.
I've seen an improvement in the results.
Is not different from any part of Uganda.
What do you bank perform well 2021?
The people of Uganda is not different from any part of Uganda, from the politicians.
Perform well 2021.
Expect the people of Uganda. They expect good services from the politicians. They expect security. They expect good water. They expect good health services. They expect good jobs. They expect good roads. They expect security. Now, if they are members of parliament, they expect good health services. The parties that they are. They expect good roads. Who do not provide those things to their people? If they are members of parliament, the people will get irrespective of the parties that they are. Who do not, because the members of parliament who come to parliament, the people will get better money and they are well and they'll vote them out. They are taken abroad to be because treated. The members of parliament, so they must also talk for their people. They get better money and they are well off. They must work for the world to be treated. Of the population, so they must also talk for their people. They must work for the good roads to be improved. They must work for the wealth creation in Uganda. Of the population of Uganda has been that they must work for the good roads to be improved. So the statement in Uganda has been that voters want services, they want good roads. Rumamongari, for instance, altercation in the ghetto with you. They want services. They want good roads. Government is here in Kampala, for instance.
Were they accusing you for the same problems in 2021?
When the government is here with people who can spray bedbugs.
Were they accusing you in Uganda, there was for the same problems in 2021?
Because the young people came and promised heaven on earth. In Uganda, there was a people discovered that these people did not have heaven. The young people came and had hell instead on earth. So these people, the people discovered that with a lot of lies, have heaven, and they had hell instead. So these people delivered hell. We have lost with a lot of lies. And the people of Uganda have refused that. If they did not, amongst the government programs to do good service to the people, the population will throw you out.
Okay.
If they did not cling on government programs to do good service to the people, the population will throw you out.
Okay. Nina abalabi ku Star TV tugendemu ko mu Uganda.
Njozayoza bana Uganda
bayambi okukola obulungi leero okusinga bwe mwakola 2021 nga NRM.
All right, welcome back from that interview of being sold hell or heaven. All right, welcome back, Michael, from that interview with the Honorable being sold hell from the NRM party. That is now Michael at this point in time, definitely with the UBC from the NRM party. Now, at this point in time, definitely UBC UG goes to the polls. And it's that time I get to hand over to the newsroom, but we'll be right back with Honorable Mike Sebalu to speak more into the matters and events as they erupt. And we'll definitely look forward to a conversation from the chief mobilizer, Honorable Seninde. She'll be speaking with us a little later on, and former EC chairperson Badru Chigulu will also be having a conversation. Has in summary, of course, looking forward to those conversations, but definitely most importantly, the updates the newsroom has in summary of one with what has happened, but of course, the numbers have increased for the different parties through as in regards to one parliamentary representation. The numbers have increased for the different you are watching in regards to parliamentary representation. It's UBC TV that you are watching. eager to serve you, definitely eager to give you all the information that you need as it comes through, eager to serve you, as definitely eager to give you all the information that you need as it comes through, and our text number, thank you so much for being on and allowing us to be your company in your living room, especially as number, spend time home in this and allowing us to be your company one that has allowed you to relax on just your time home, getting back a bit to the analog thing as in Uganda has allowed you to relax on just your screen, getting back a bit to the analog thing as in Uganda. Good afternoon, about 2 minutes, actually 2 minutes after 1 p.m. And indeed, a good afternoon about that I get to 2 minutes, actually 2 minutes after 1 p.m. Good afternoon. And indeed, it's that time that I get to hand over.
Indeed, it is a wonderful afternoon right here at Broadcast House on Nile Avenue, and thank you so much for taking us through the morning session, and thank you so much for the updates, Nile Avenue, and indeed we have a lot for taking us through the morning session. Today is the final day. For the updates, and should we call it Judgment Day? A lot in store for you, Uganda. Today is the final day. I would say. Should we call it Judgment Day? Today is the final day for the next 5 years. Announcing the head of state, and of course I will be joined with my colleague the next 5 years. Lorraine Masika Kazimoto, and of course I will be joined with my colleague. Actually, now we have a lot in store for you when it comes to the updates of the presidential. Now we have a lot in store for you when it comes to the updates. Thursday, the 15th of January. Uganda took to the polls that happened on Thursday. Thursday, the 15th of January, Uganda took to the polls to the new president elect from 2020, 2026 to 2031. And from what we're looking at from the EC, from 2020, the latest updates from the Electoral Commission, President Yoweri Museveni has taken a commanding lead. The latest updates from the Electoral Commission, well ahead of his Yoweri Museveni has taken a commanding lead in the Thursday's presidential elections. Well ahead of dominates with 71% of the votes as EC tallies 93%. Now Museveni dominates with 71% of the votes as EC tallies with 20% of the polling stations. Robert Chagulanyi is in a distant second so far with 24.46% of the total results as so far released. Let's show you an update on that.
That are here, the representatives and agents of presidential candidates of delegations, that are here, political parties, representatives, heads of nations, and agents of presidential candidates observing these elections, representatives of political parties, members of the press, heads of nations, ladies and gentlemen, observing these elections, chairperson of the Electoral Commission, you're welcome, members of the press. I would like to take this opportunity to ladies and gentlemen, chairperson of the Electoral Commission, you're welcome, and I would like to take this opportunity to hand over to you, waiting to address the message of the Commission, which is even waiting for the message of the Commission. Thank you, sir. this evening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and good evening, our distinguished guests who are here. Thank you, and the fellow Ugandans who are watching us, distinguished guests in the various TV channels. And the fellow Ugandans who are watching us once again to the various TV channels on the current status. We are here once again regarding the provision of the presidential current status. You coming to say hi? That took regarding the provisional results of the presidential now that took place yesterday. Session is the 5th. Now we are making since yesterday this releasing the provisional. We are making since yesterday. Registered voters remain 21,649,067. Voters remain 21,649,067. 739. Total number of polling stations 50,739. Total number.
Agulayo yajjanjaba nze mujjanja nze mukyala we asubeda akantu bakakolera waawo yawangula luliki ye bamukuba ebigebizi yalalo bamulukuulaawo bamukuba enkoni awo yayekudde ebitwalifaani
All right, that you saw on your screen. We do apologize. That was the EC chairman's update for yesterday. All right, that you saw on your screen. We do apologize. That was the EC chairman's update for yesterday. But update on the presidential race. We'll be bringing you that footage and that update throughout this particular hour. I am finally joined by my colleague, Edward, throughout this particular hour. Thank you so much. I am finally joined by my colleague, and it indeed is, I should say, a bit tense. It's a mixture of tense and excitement, and it indeed is the final day. I should say, Ugandans have been waiting for. It's a mixture of tense and excitement at the same time. It is the final day.
Thank you, Lorraine. Indeed, it is, as you say, it is a day of mixed emotions. Some of the people also probably, as you say, it is a day of mixed emotions. Who have won are actually celebrating. And so there's a lot that is going to be taking place in the course of the day, but also in the days who have won are actually celebrating. And so there's a lot that is going to be taking place in the course of the day, but also in the days that are coming ahead. The news that have been coming through from the to understand that national, of course, the center, the news that have been coming through from the and of course we shall be talking later on this program about the results some of the areas where things have actually changed. We shall be talking later on the unexpected happened, but that's some of the areas where for now things have actually changed. Talk about where what is out there in the open. That is, but for now, I'd like to actually talk about what is out there in the open. That is some allegations that the national has been arrested and that his presidential candidate broken into. But the police has come out to actually say something about what these rumors are broken into. But the police has come out to actually say something about what these rumors are all about. And let's hear what the police has to say.
I think the questions are similar. They rotate around his status. I think the questions are similar. Mr. Kyagulanyi around his status. As far as I'm informed, he's not under arrest. Mr. Kyagulanyi sent a point I'd like to make. As far as I'm informed, he's not under arrest. That the deployment like to make around his place, yes, it is visible. The deployment we have around, we have deployed in all areas visible. Where but we have intelligence estimates. We have deployed in all areas where our point intelligence estimates to such areas as areas of interest. Give us, including a point to such areas as areas of interest or precincts around, including Magere. First and foremost, places like precincts around share with Magere. You that. First and foremost, some of those like pockets, to not necessarily with you that Magere, but in some areas, in some of nearby those pockets, you know that not necessarily Magere, but in some areas nearby who became disorderly. You know that we had, we also have information that most of these who became disorderly. Incitement by we also have political actors. Most of these are under. So we are dominating by, as security political actors all areas. So we are dominating specific security interest. So it should not surprise you when we have a pickup specific security interest. So it should not surprise you the residents when we have a pickup or two. And near, we don't commit any offense of Honorable Kyagulanyi when we deploy, and we don't commit any offense anywhere. But what I would like to categorically make in Magere statement is he's not under. We have the right to deploy anywhere. But what I would like to categorically make as a statement is he's not under arrest. Has he moved and he has been denied to move? Has he moved and he has been denied to move? At least I am not aware that he has been denied an opportunity to move. And I don't know when I am not aware that he has been denied, because the last time I saw him move, that was the time when that opportunity was denied to going to cast. Because the last time I saw him move, so that was the time like when I've said that if any information vote particularly comes to my attention, like I've said, particularly restricted, if any information tell you and we shall particularly comes to my attention that is particularly restricted, then we shall tell you and we shall share with you the reasons as to why. I have said I have no information to the effect that I have seen it from them. I have no information to the effect. Let me hope that this way to get to that. That for the allegations that his guard was shot and killed. That for the allegations that his guard was shot and killed. I don't know where you picked that from. You know the quality of social media in the world today. It is full of very serious. You know the quality of allegations, very verified and very full of very. I think let's always allegations very verified and reliable sources. I think let's always because what we know is that most media spaces and reliable sources, the diaspora. Simply what we know is that most media spaces and that kind of the diaspora picture are simply trying. So that allegation yet that kind of insightful as to whether public can access him, first and foremost, as to whether public can access him, we have first and foremost access in areas like we have told you security. We have controlled access. We have not necessarily denied people feel access security, but we can also not tolerate instances. We have not necessarily denied people premises him, but we can also not tolerate instances where necessary violence use his premises or incite violence. Uganda, we cannot allow unnecessary violence or incite violence. So we cannot allow.
Yes, police spokesperson Chituma Rusoke giving you an update on security and more so. Yes, police spokesperson Chituma Rusoke giving you an update on security and more so making a clarification on the alleged arrest. Now I want to take you back to the Electoral Commission chairperson update on the presidential race. Now I want to take you back to the Electoral Commission chairperson this morning. Update. Remember, the Electoral Commission gives race as update on how the race is going this morning. Remember, the Electoral Commission gives 3-4 hours, and we're expecting another race is going. But I take you to the update that happened earlier 4 hours, and we're expecting another update at around 2 p.m. But I take you to the update that happened earlier on today morning.
Would like to release today or this morning further provisional results. Would like to release presidential elections, further provisional results as we stand at this presidential elections. The total number of registered voters remain 21,049,000
is because it has an extended surface of footrests.
I'm Gabrielle. I go by Gabi. I'm from Nigeria. I heard about LCHE from a friend who went here and had an amazing experience. He made incredible connections and had so many opportunities to expand his horizons here. I'm really looking forward to having the support of such an amazing and open-minded institution in just bringing my own ideas for projects into reality and just looking forward to all the opportunities I will have here.
Amount of hard work that you need to do on the floor when it's
of the total number of polling stations across the country. The performance per candidate, is as follows. Bulira Frank Kavinga, 44,320 is as follows, representing 0.42% of the valid votes cast for the candidates. Bulira Frank Kavinga, Kasvante Robert, 32,224,300, representing 0.30% of the valid votes cast. 0.42% of the valid votes cast. Kyagulanyi Centam Robert, the candidates. 2,601,150. 32,224. Mabiri representing 0.30%, 22,274, representing 0.1%. Kyagulanyi Center, in the case of Kyagulanyi, I beg your pardon, 2,601,150, 24.46%. Mabiri Joseph, who has 22,274. 150, representing 0.21%. Sorry, in the case of Kyagulanyi, I beg your pardon, 57,000. That tally represents 24.46%. 24.46%, 0.4 Kyagulanyi, who has a valid votes, 2,601,150. Mubarak Serunga, Mugisha, Gregory Muntu, 30,509 representing 0.29%, 0 the valid votes cast, representing 0.4. Nandalama Fabi James of the valid votes cast, 202,000. Nyagwa 802. Serunga representing 1.91%, 509 valid votes cast, for representing 0.29%. Yoweri Tuhaburwa votes Kaguta Museveni 7,643,278,802, representing 71.89% of the valid votes cast. For the candidate. The valid votes in total for the candidates are 10,648,778 votes, 267.88% and 15. The valid 264,000. The valid votes in total representing 2.42% 10 million of the total votes, 634,000. The total votes altogether 10,898,264,099, representing 50.264 registered voters. 1,015 spoiled votes representing 2.42% of the total votes cast. This is the total votes altogether, 10,898,099, representing 50.34% of registered voters. Spoiled votes, 38,223. This is the current update.
All right, that is the Electoral Commission Chairperson, Justice Simon Byabakama, giving an update on how our standing when it comes to the presidential race. And as you have heard from him, he has given you an update when it comes to votes and tallying into in percentage form as well. All right, we continue to bring you updates on what is happening. Justice Simon Byabakama giving an update, of course, on we have heard our standing, Edward, a lot of celebrations here in the presidential race, and as you have heard from we've been getting updates. He has given you an update. Some of our reporters who are and tallying in Kololo, in percentage form as well. We continue to bring you updates on what is happening. Don't dismay. We still have a few more hours to go. And yes, indeed, we have heard, Edward, a lot of celebrations here and there. It's mixed feelings, you know. We've been getting updates from
you put it, celebrations going on in different places across the country because some people have already known their fate. So those who have won are actually celebrating. And yes, returning officers continue to announce winners of the directly elected members of parliament and district women representatives. And put it, celebrations. I think, Lorraine, is that different places long-serving members of parliament have actually lost their fate, and this is a clear wave actually celebrating, and returning officers continue to voter delivery to announce winners, and this is directly but candidates of the national resistance movement, women, several of them are representatives, and actually the thing, Lorraine, is that against several long-serving members of parliament have actually lost. I could read some of these people, and this is a clear wave, made it. We have the latest regarding delivery parliamentary, and this is a surprise. But candidates of the national resistance movement, several of them, Dennis Namara, actually also of the NRM, has against taken Buyaga West incumbents. With Naziwa Margaret, also of the NRM, I could read some of these people that have really made Parliament seat. We have meanwhile Matiaka Seija of NRM parliamentary representatives. Then we have Stephen of the NRM County in Kabale District. In Kibale District, we also Dr. Emily Kuginza NRM taken Buyaga West, one Buyaga East, Nabaduka Margaret, who is an independent, Kibale woman member of Parliament, Premier Robina Nabanja, retaining the Kakumiro of NRM member of Parliament seat. Then Professor Lubega George NRM in Bugangezi in Kibale District. Onesmus Twin Namasko Dr. Emily Kuginza who has actually bounced back. One Buyaga East, Nabaduka. We have Lydia Wanyoto, Kibale woman member of Parliament, Premier woman Robina member of Parliament, and retaining the Kakumiro woman member of Parliament seat. Then Professor Lubega George NRM Bugangezi South Onesmus Twin Namasko NRM Parliament, who has actually bounced back for Bugangezi East. We have Lydia Wanyoto, who has bounced back for broadcast because formerly a member of Parliament. The Dr. Kasses Yonga NRM bounces back for opposition 100%. But today when this is happening, this is it's now yellow.
Big news.
So this is big news. This one, Lorraine Michelle really talking about celebrations. The cost of this all NRM broadcast because formally going to celebrate. Then also we have all FDC MPs have lost in Kasese district of opposition. We've just been talking. But today when this is happening, then we have it's now yellow. Of course, that means this candidature. This is a big news
for the NRM party.
Exactly. Of course, we're talking about celebration. We have Dr. Ruth Amande, who has won all NRM seats. It is something people are going to celebrate. Then also, we have all FDC MPs have won in Kasese district of seat, and Kitenya Sowedi won Songora here. Then we have other people that talk about Professor Efren. That means candidature in South taken also he is NRM. We have Dr. Ruth Amande, who has won. We have Dixon Kateshum, NRM, who wins the Shema municipality seat. Then we have Kaido Tafide, NRM, one was taken Ruhida Central, and Dr. Eliota Sowedi, also NRM, taking Shema North. Other Amelia about Professor Efren Kamuntu was taken Shema South, and also he is NRM. We have some of the winners, and we have Dixon Kateshum, NRM, who wins the Shema municipality. Then we have Kaido Tafide, NRM, who has taken Ruhinda Central, and Dr. Eliota Tumwesije, also NRM, taking Shema North, and Amelia Chambade.
And the parliamentary results, the big shots who lost, we do see NRM Beatrice team losing her seat there. Another is NRM Joyce Kaduchu Moruchu, who also is a state minister for education. We also have NRM's Adoa Helen, who has also lost her and the parliamentary results, the big shots who lost. And by the way, might I add, NRM Beatrice team losing her seat there. Another so you can is NRM the impact also for NRM Joyce. We have other big shots who lost their seats. We have the minister for education. We also have NRM's Adoa Helen, who has also lost UPC candidate Betty Amongi, that is for the Lira seat. And by the way, might I add, some of these are seat right there. Not forgetting more big shots. David Bahati for NRM.